We are rolling. Hello, everybody. I'm Johnny Allen of the Johnny Allen 30-Minute Podcast. How you guys doing on this Tuesday? That's the day we're filming it. I don't know if it's the day you're seeing it, but it's the day that I'm filming it, okay? It's 1/24/2023 Tuesday. Hope you guys are doing well out there. Thanks again for stopping by. If you're new to this channel, new to this podcast, you stumbled across me or whatever, congratulations. I'm just an average guy sitting in an average home, in an average area, and talking about everyday life, average things. That's about it. That's what I do for 30 minutes. And I'll drink a little coffee with you guys, and we'll chat about everyday life things that come up. And what came up today, and I just now saw this and wanted to share it right from the get-go. Okay, I am a Foo Fighters fan. I have been for a long time. One of my particular favorite songs of theirs is My Hero. Okay, Hero, right? Love that song. I was jamming through it the other day on the radio came on. Anyway, I had a little downtime in between doing various things of the day that I do, and I stumbled across a YouTube. Of course, you guys know Taylor Hawkins passed away, unfortunately, last year. God rest his soul. And I had heard that he had a son, but I really didn't know much about him. And his name is Sean Hawkins. And you guys that are Foo Fighters fans probably have already seen this video and probably know everything about Sean. But this is the first time I've seen this video, and I'm going to have the link below in case you haven't seen it. This performance, well, first of all, Sean's a drummer, and he's young. I don't know. I don't know how old he is. Looks like 14, 15 years old. I'm not sure. But he set in, they've been doing the benefit concerts, or the remembrance concerts, what are you going to call it, tribute concerts to Taylor. And they've been really good. It's really been a fantastic tribute to him. But anyway, his son performed Hero, My Hero, on this particular video. And when I watched it, and I'm a musician, right? I've been a musician for over 40 years. And I've seen a lot of drummers. And I was totally blown away by Sean. And not only his drumming, and he's a fantastic drummer. He's great. He's amazing, actually, especially for his age. But the emotions that you can see running through the kid is incredible. The tribute to his dad, like he's put it out there for his dad. It's all for his dad. And it's pretty incredible. But anyway, get a chance. I got the link below. Check it out. It's pretty moving. And speaking of moving, last Sunday was Lisa Marie's funeral. And I watched it, and that was moving as well. Man, I tell you. Sad, but the folks that showed up to her funeral and performed, it was moving. That was moving. The wife and I watched it, and at the end of the thing, we didn't even there wasn't one dry tear. There wasn't any dry cheeks right here. It was all wet from all the tears. But Shane Hawkins, man, wow. Good job. This kid is amazing. Anyway, that's all I got as far as opening up the podcast. That's not all I got, but I wanted to start with that, rather. And you know what? I always drink the coffee, and I share the coffee, and I'm going to start calling this the coffee of the day. It's the coffee that I'm drinking. And in the styrofoam cup is a to-go cup from one of my favorite local restaurants here. I went out this morning treating myself to breakfast. And I asked him, I said, what's in this cup today? What do you guys got going on in there? So anyway, the coffee of the day is Folgers in the cup. It's kind of an old standard like Maxwell House and everything, but you know what's good? It's good coffee. Good coffee. All right, so today, what am I going to talk about? Everyday life situations, talking points. Let's go over, okay. I talked about Shane Hawkins. Check him out. I mean, oh my gosh. Kid is amazing. Amazing. I think it's Shane. Is it Shane or Sean? Anyway, anyway, Taylor Hawkins' boy. You guys will see it. And it's an MTV thing, which I didn't even know MTV shows music anymore, but I guess they do. Coffee today, Folgers. And what I have today, last week I talked about UAPs and UFOs. That was pretty interesting. But today I'm just going to talk about how to take a break away, at least with me. I'm a talk show radio guy, YouTuber guy, and that's just what I do. I listen to a lot of talk shows. But every once in a while, you just got to put it all away. The news, everything. You got to put it away. Like I said before, I turn on the news. I want to hear the weather, and it's all bad stuff usually. And then they'll do the weather forecast, and then I turn it off. But anyway, you need a break from that once in a while. So, and I talked about cooking. So we're going to flip this. We're going to flip the script here real quick, and we're going to go to cooking. So I'm going to share here in a couple of seconds a clip of me, a little videotape of me, taking a break from all the media and the news and everything. Get outside. It's wintertime here, but it didn't matter. It was 30 degrees. You know what? I fired up my smoker, and I smoked a whole chicken. And I'll talk about prices, too. I'm going to talk about grocery prices and stuff. But anyway, I got a really good deal on the whole chicken. I'll share some of this stuff with you guys. And I put it out on the smoker. So anyway, without further ado, I'll share a little bit of my outdoor clip to be smoking the chicken. And at the end of the video, at the end of the podcast, at the end of this thing, whatever you want to call it, my 30-minute podcast, I will show the result of the chicken. So here we go. Here's the clip of me smoking the chicken.
Anyway, I decided, to just go ahead and fire the smoker up. It doesn't matter if it's cold outside, guys, or whatever. You can still cook. So I got my old smoker. I've had this thing and you can tell by looking at it, I've had a thing for 30-some years old, but it still works. Still works fine. So anyway, got the hot box going there. There's the fuel going, and we got whole chicken underneath there going for it, right? And I'll just show you the before and after. So here's the before. I just got it sitting in there. Let me get my hand out of the way so you can see it. There you go. There's the before, and I'll show you guys the after. But you got the flame coming out of the box right there. Anyway, we're outside, just cooking. Like I said, cold, dreary day, but it's good to be alive, right? I do appreciate you guys checking out my podcast once a week or whatever. Like I said, I am small beans compared to everybody else, but I keep it real. That's the thing. I'm an everyday guy, and I'm older, and I just keep things, talk about this everyday life stuff, like the price of groceries. I mean, 3 years ago, I could get basically that was like 2 bags of groceries. Years ago, probably 2 or 3 years ago, rather, $44 would have got me, probably 5 or 6 bags worth of groceries. And like I said, and the meat is expensive, and that's the cheapest thing I could do. And thing is, I smoke this chicken, and as soon as it's done, that'll be dinner tonight, and then I'll use some of the leftover chicken and make a big pot of soup out of that tomorrow. And that'll last the whole weekend. It'll be Saturday. I'll fill up the crock pot and do that, and that'll last the whole weekend. And I'm going to use vegetables I grew out of my little garden boxes over here. I'll show you guys real quick where I grow that stuff in the springtime and the summer. But anyway, there's the boxes. Of course, they're empty now, but that's where I grow all the veggies. And you can see why I live in suburbia, right? But you can supplement by growing your own stuff. I'll talk about that a little bit today. But anyway, I'm out here, as weird as it sounds, I'm out here enjoying the cold. It's just good to be alive. I hope you guys enjoyed that clip. I had a good, like I said, every once in a while, you just got to take a break from everything. And I go for like a 2.5, 3 mile walk almost every day. There's occasionally a day I miss, but usually I walk. It's a great way to clear your head, think about things, or not think about things, you know. It's just a good way to get away from stuff, especially all the bad stuff. And I told my wife the other day when I smoked this turkey, or chicken rather, I said, you know what? I told her, I said, I'm gonna cook something outside. I'm gonna grill. And she's, oh, are you are? And I said, oh yeah. So it doesn't matter if it's, you know, a little cold outside. It took me 5 hours to smoke that chicken, by the way, and it turned out really, really good. So I ate a little bit of that the first night, took the rest of it, remainder of that, and made a chicken vegetable soup out of it. So that leads up to my next talking point. And like I said, the whole Food Fighters thing was just, I saw it today, so I thought I'd share that first. But I'm going to talk about how everything is so expensive. We know that, right? I mean, it's just, it's out of sight.
The way things are driven up on the prices. So I'll share a copy of a receipt that I got from Kroger. And that's not where I shop all the time. And I'm not knocking Kroger or anything, but it's just an example of how expensive things are. And I actually got a better deal on the whole chicken than I did like trying to get like beef or even pork or, you know, like chicken breast. Chicken breasts are just, I mean, incredible, right? You get a whole chicken, you got it all there. You got 2 legs, you got a couple wings, you got breast, you get the whole thing. And it's already cleaned up. I mean, you basically, you know, it's not a lot of prep in doing a whole chicken. So if you're not into cooking whole chickens, I highly recommend learning about it and doing it, because in the long run, you're getting more bang for your buck. And like I said, today, we need to save as much money as we possibly can, cut corners or whatever, because as I'm going to show the receipt and stuff of the Kroger bill, and I'll show that here in a second, how expensive things are. And I basically got like 2 bags of groceries. But anyway, I'll share the clip right here of the Kroger receipt. The cost of groceries, right? We all know how expensive it's getting. But anyway, I'm going to share the receipt I got from Kroger today, show you what I bought, show you how much it is, right? So I'm in the Midwest, the US of A. So anyway, looky there. So I got, 2 things of yogurt, $4.49 a piece, $4.49 a piece. Some coffee creamer, $3.99, which is basically $4. A big whopping savings of 40 cents. Okay, I'll take what I can get, but look at this, guys. Okay, Tyson chicken, $8.16. Now that's a whole chicken, and we're actually going to go out there. I'm smoking it here, and I'm going to share that. But anyway, I decided to get the whole chicken. $8.16 was cheaper than buying, chicken breast, and for sure. And it's a whole chicken. It's going to make 2 meals. So I got a bag of potatoes, the cheapest bag I could find, for $2.79. Not bad. That's not bad. So 20 cents savings there after I bought the fruit too. You see the Kroger apples, the Halos, $5 for fruit, pretty high. Potatoes aren't bad. Charcoal, I got the cheapest bag of charcoal I could find to help with my smoking of the $8.16 whole chicken. And that was $6.29, as you see. Kroger water, big thing of water. That was on sale too. Boy, they marked that down. $3.69. And then, of course, I talked about the tax. States got to get theirs. 44 cents, with the whopping total of $44.12. So anyway, you see how expensive things are. And I basically got like 2 bags of groceries or something. I mean, it's just stupid stuff. And I went to Home Depot. My brother was really nice and gave us a $50 gift card to Home Depot. I thought, yeah, $50, that's a pretty good chunk of change. I go to Home Depot, and I'm not knocking Home Depot. I love Home Depot. But I go there with the $50 gift card. I get two things of spray paint. I get 2 tubes of caulking, and not the expensive caulking. I get, what else did I get? Oh, a thing of the nice little, felt rags, for your cars and stuff, buffer rags. Anyway, not very much. I got a can of lubricant for the garage door. Anyway, to cut to the chase, I got 1 bag. 1 bag. That was $68. So I was still $18 out of my pocket after the $50 gift card. I thought, wow, 1 little bag, $50. $68, actually. I mean, so things these days are so expensive. Do they have to be? That's a whole another podcast. We may talk about that. I really don't think things need to be, the prices of things should be driven this high. I think there's a lot of things that the politicians could do to change it, but like I said, it's a whole different podcast. So it comes up to my next talking point. Speaking of politics, we're going to touch a little bit on the politics. So we talked about Taylor Hawkins, rest in peace, his son, terrific drummer, terrific performance, unbelievable performance. Talked about the coffee of the day, which is Folgers today for me. Talked about when you got to get away from all the bad stuff, get outside, do something outside, get away from, just ease your mind. I go for walks. I smoke stuff on my smoker, grill out. I get outside. Point is, I try to get outside as much as possible. Now, they're calling for snow here in the Midwest. By the time this video comes out, I'm probably going to have about a foot of snow in my front yard. So I got the snow blower and everything going. And, I'm okay with the snow, especially if I don't have to drive in it. It's all good. So we're talking about how to, ease your mind from all this political madness and all this bad news. Just like, get to us all the time. So that's what I do. I go outside, smoke the chicken and all that. So, yeah, the prices of things are really high. So we're trying to cut corners, right? And back on that thing again. I try to cut corners on the expense by using coupons. I go to the bargain bin. I try to do without. I buy the off-brands. I do everything. My wife, this is funny, guys. My wife watches all these DIYers. And some of them, are talking about how to save money at the grocery store. And she'll go, honey, we need to start doing that. I said, I'm already doing that. Honey, we need to start doing what she's doing. I said, I already do that. I already do that. I do like 90%, 95% of what these women are doing to try to save money when they're shopping at the grocery, especially grocery. Like I said, I did pretty good. I paid $8-something for I think it was $8.16 for the whole chicken. That was 3 meals. Because the first initial meal, I cut some chicken off, ate it with green beans and side dishes, baked potato. After that, put it in the soup. The soup lasted like 2 days, fed 3 people. So for basically about $10, I ate quite a bit. Now, when I go out for breakfast, and I don't do it very often, but if I go out for breakfast, especially if I go out with the wife, the prices have gone up quite a bit. I can't get out for any less than $40 after I've tipped the server, right? And most of it, I look at my bill on that, and most of the expense on that bill when I'm going out for breakfast is coffee. That's why I always say, you know what? And there's one waitress I know pretty well. She's pretty nice. I said, get me a to-go one, because he's already charged her for coffee, so she'll give me another one. Because I'm trying to get the most out of my money, right? Get the most bang for the buck, so to speak. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well out there, and girls, guys and gals, that's how I like to say it. Because, like I said, this world's kind of nutty, and we're just trying to get through it. That's all I'm doing. Anyway, trying to get through it the best I can, trying not to worry about stuff. I did talk to a couple of my friends I haven't talked to the last couple of days, so that was nice to touch base with them. But anyway, we're going to switch over to the politics just briefly, because I got some funny things to talk about when it comes to the politic thing. All right. So when I am watching the news, and I'm not taking a break from it, I am watching I'm listening to the talk shows and all that stuff and the podcast. The big thing, unless you guys have been living under a rock, the big thing going on right now is Biden classified documents all over the place. Okay, first it was Donald Trump, President Trump, Mar-a-Lago. You guys know all about that stuff. You guys know all about that. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on, or if you're even on an aisle. I don't care. But anyway, the big story is classified documents. And as I'm speaking here, ex-Vice President Pence supposedly found classified documents in his place. I know I don't have classified documents because I'm not in the government. But anyway, classified documents, that's the hot subject right now. Classified documents. Boy, classified documents. I've heard that. I've heard that term, that word, words, classified documents, 2 words. I've heard that word, words. I can't tell you, 50, 60 times in the last 2 weeks. So what's the big deal about the classified documents? We can get into that later. It could be a big deal. It might not be a big deal. It depends on what's in them, right? I mean, it's pretty easy going. Is Biden being treated more fairly than Trump? That's a debate. Now, I know the FBI didn't raid Biden's places, which, you could look at that. And I'm not saying I'm on somebody's corner, but if you look at that, that seems to be kind of unfair. That's just my own personal opinion. Say that, okay, we're just going to do the scenario here, a fictitious scenario. Say that I had an old bag of fertilizer, and my neighbor next door, he has an old bag of fertilizer, and this fertilizer was classified. I know it's kind of weird, but, just go with it. So we got the Scott's fertilizer, for your yard, but it's classified fertilizer. Classified fertilizer, okay? Well, they find out that me and my neighbor have classified fertilizers from Scott's for your yard, and the government finds out about it, and so they raid my house, the FBI does, and his lawyer next door, he just said, I got classified fertilizer, yard fertilizer too, so his lawyers just take it to the government, right? That's the comparison. So, the thing is, FBI, that was a little overstep, I thought, and I don't know if there's a right way or a wrong way of handling this situation, but I do agree with this one guy that I listened to on a talk show, actually a couple guys from Texas. They said that really the bottom line is that the people in charge of these classifieds need to make sure that the classifieds don't get in the hands of the exiting politicians or the new politicians or whoever it is. How about we just pay attention to what's going out of the classified room? I mean, it's as basic as that, right? It's basics, right? It's basics. Okay, that's it. I think with the whole classified document thing, that's it. Make sure that they don't walk. And you think the government would do a better job? I mean, you're talking about the government of the United States of America. You're talking about the leaders and the staff of the free world, basically. And they can't handle, and they have no track of what's going out of that White House when a president or a vice president or whoever leaves their job. They don't know what's going out of there. I mean, when I left my job, I had to turn in my badge. I had to turn everything over. That was the property of the hospital, and I did that. I just don't understand why the government doesn't tighten things up when it comes to that. So, I mean, I think the solution to the classified document issue that's going right now is whoever's ahead of that. I don't know who it is exactly. They'll tell me it's this or that or the other, but whoever's really ahead of it, just make sure that when they're exiting and they've quit their job and they're leaving, make sure that whatever they're leaving with, they can leave with. That's it. It's so simple. The media just jumps on it and, you got this going on. And I'm the average guy sitting back thinking, okay, whatever, right? That's why I use this fertilizer, Scott's fertilizer for your grass scenario, because that's about how stupid it is. Oh gosh, they both worked at hardware stores and they both ended up with Scott's fertilizers. They took those. That's classified stuff they took, you know what I mean? Me and the neighbor, Hypothetical. This is a hypothetical story. I've never worked at a hardware, and I don't think he has either. May end up working at a hardware store, though, later. Let's have a drink of coffee, guys. And gals, just funny stuff. What do you think about the classified document stuff? Comment below. What do you think about Taylor Hawkins' son playing drums? Man, is he kick butt or what? He's kick butt. Comment on anything I'm talking about today. The prices of groceries in the store. You guys can just leave a comment on there if you want. You can say, yeah, John, the grocery store prices suck, whatever. So anyway, speaking of the news, I'm going to share with you guys this real quick. I read news on the internet as well, and I'm going to share the picture of this. I took it with my cell phone because I couldn't screenshot it. So it was on my desktop. I couldn't screenshot it or save it. So I just took a picture of it. I'm going to post it right here. What is it? It's funny text. It's funny text, right? So you'll see misspellings here, and there's another thing too. Like these, okay, I'm an amateur. I'll admit it. I'm an amateur guy. I make mistakes. I'm not smooth talking, but I keep it real, and I'm an average, normal guy keeping it real, sharing my frustrations or pleasures or whatever it is I have, things I notice every day in my existence. I share with you, common folk. Right? That's all we do. We share our experiences with each other. But anyway, you think that a big news agency like Microsoft or MSNBC or whoever it was, I'll share it because I took this picture last week. You know who's their spell checkers? that's the question. Who's their spell checkers, right? I make mistakes. Like I said, I'm amateur. I make blunders. But these guys are professional, proven professional people putting it out there, and look at this blunder. Anyway, I'm going to stop yakking here, and you guys just check us out. And another thing, look at all the headlines. Last week I talked about how the world's just kind of going crazy. Just check this out real quick. Here we go.
Hey guys, it's Johnny Allen from the podcast. I'm going to make a point on what I've been talking about. This is on Wednesday, January the 18th. And I pulled up the news, local news on my computer. And it's all, just bad news. This is from, this news is from, let's see. Oh, it's from Microsoft. It's a MSCN, I think, news. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is there's some headlines right there, okay? Just bad stuff going on. Okay, there you go. Plain sight. You guys can read these headlines, right? Moment 24. That's what I was talking about, all the wackiness going on. Okay? Russia, the news with Ukraine. But look, this is the funny one right here. Read that. Read wherever. No spell checking there. Putin is dizzy and weak and is becoming isolated and weak. So like the week, like a week, 7 days in a week. Not W-E-A-K, but W-E-E-K. Can't make that stuff up, guys. There you go. That's from the Metro 5 hours ago on the 18th of January. Yeah, isn't that crazy? Yep. Crazy stuff. Crazy, crazy, crazy. There's another one. 3 men charged, 14-year-old, attempted carjacking. It's just all good news. All good news, right? Adult star Ron Jeremy found incompetent to stand trial on multiple rape charges. Amazing stuff. Just all real good news, right? Anyway, I wanted to share that because I thought that was hilarious, right? That was hilarious. Weak. All right. Here we go back to studio.
See what I mean? So-and-so did this, so-and-so did that. I mean, I can't believe this stuff. You can't make this stuff up. There was one, too, that I saw on the news or heard on the news. Oh, yeah, here it is, guys. I heard this on the news last night. Someone actually stole a hearse. Did you guys hear this? Someone stole a hearse with a body in it. They had a body in the hearse that they were getting ready to, get ready and show, right? It's somebody's loved one that had died is in this hearse. Now the hearse got stolen, jacked. They found it in Chicago. And guess what? They found the hearse, but guess what? Guess what? You can't make this stuff up, guys. The body's gone. You cannot make this stuff up. So who steals a hearse? I mean, seriously, who steals a hearse and then steals the body out of the back end of it? I mean, that's what I'm talking about. I talked about that last week. Is there something running the minds of human beings, causing them to go beep, beep, And you got the mayor of Chicago saying, you know what, to keep from getting, the robbing is so bad. The pickpocketing, robbing people on the street. Give me your wallet, stealing purses, all that stuff. Anyway, that crime is so bad in Chicago that her solution to it. I heard this one too. Is this, don't carry cash with you. Oh, it's okay for them to steal your credit card, I guess, but don't carry cash. I heard that one too. And, we're going to talk about this. I talked about this conspiracy stuff, right? We're going to talk about that maybe next week on the podcast about how, and Tony and I talked, we were ahead of the curve on this one too. We're going to talk about the cashless society and why the governor or the mayor of Chicago, rather, is suggesting these things, subliminal, trying to ramping it up to be cashless, totally cashless. There's a reason why they want us to be cashless, and I'll touch on that next week. Anyway, and another thing I'm going to touch on next week too, guys. I'm about ready to close today. I hope you enjoyed the clips that I shared, and everything, and I'll share the end result of the chicken at the end of this thing. But next week, we're going to talk about moving speeches. Lately, a lot of people are wanting to get their voices heard these days, and I understand why. Because you got this vastness of just ridiculous doing this. You got this wacky stuff over here, and you got people that are still kind of, I call halfway normal this way, and you got some in between. Anyway, the world's just kind of going in weird directions, right? So, and all these people are trying to get their voices heard, whether you agree on it or not. They're all like doing this, and they're doing violence, which is bad too. That's another thing too, like the Antifas of the world. I don't understand why they got to do what they're doing. That's a whole other podcast too. But anyway, next week what I'm going to talk about is moving speeches. There's been people talking, and I'm going to talk about a guy that had a really moving speech, and I mean, whether you agree with him or not, it was pretty moving. But we're going to talk about this actor named Jonathan Roumie. Okay, you guys probably heard of him, but we're going to touch base. I'm going to touch base and talk about him and some other folks that's made some really, I call them gut check. I mean, not even gut check, but guts. Having, having the desire and the movement and the passion to really talk about things that are very controversial right now. But it's about time that, you got some on one side talking all the time, and then on the other side, maybe not so much. But it's nice that you got people that make you think. That's all I'm going to say about it. I don't want to, I'm kind of neutral here. I don't like to take sides. I got my opinions. But I just like to share next week people that have some moving speeches, like Martin Luther King did, back in the day. This guy had a pretty moving speech, and we'll talk a little bit about that next week. But that's about it, guys. I hope you have a great week, rest of your week. I'm bracing for snow coming. I'm in the Midwest, and it's coming. By the time I share this, it's probably going to be here. But anyway, thanks again for stopping in. I do appreciate it. Any comments on anything I talked about today? Like I said, it's common everyday life stuff I've observed. I mean, I may jump from subject to subject, but that's what I do here, right? Yeah, Taylor Hawkins' son, man, he's incredible. Coffee of the day, outdoor cooking, getting outdoors, just getting away when you get too bombarded with all the media stuff. And then speaking of media stuff, documented, classified documents, come on, whatever. You know what I mean? So the funny text of the media, we're just kind of going over this stuff. And that's it. The Lord willing, I'll see you guys all next week. Have a good one.